Sup YouTube, welcome back to another video documenting my journey to legend. In today's video, I'll be showcasing the team that helped me reach expert in the MasterCard League, featuring some incredibly obscure Pokemon you've most certainly never heard of. That shit was capped. This team is incredibly meta and incredibly boring, but before you click off the video, I'm showcasing the team for only one reason: to show you that anyone and their grandmother can hit legend if you use meta Pokemon. So kick back, relax, and let me hit play as I show you that with a little bit of luck, some patience, and with a fundamental understanding of the basic game mechanics, you too can tap your way to legend. If you're somewhat new to the world of GBL, feel free to check out this video that I made that serves as a good beginner's guide to get you started in the world of GBL. But to start us off with the first battle, we are looking at what starts off as an RPS lineup. However, that's not how this video or how this battle is going to end. The reason I kept this battle in was to showcase you that if you don't play out the remainder of this lineup to perfection, for lack of a better phrase, you will end up losing. So obviously we're hard countering Ho-Oh in the lead. I farm up to just before they make it to the next Iron Head to force their hand, since they did match my shield. They're at 1 shield. I'm going to still throw on proper timing and hope that I make it to this move. If you have seen that beginner's guide, then you know that we got new mechanic here in this instance, which is why we were able to throw off our Moonblast. Not that it really helps out all that much. I am banking on the fact that they have a harder response to Palkia, which is why I let that go and I don't throw my Dragon Tail. I am rocking Dragon Tail because against the mirror, it will let you 1 shield farm down, since they get to the Spatial Rend before you do. Spatial Rend is legacy. You can also run Draco on it. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. Spatial Rend is easier to get to, but Draco has come in clutch so many times as the opponent for me. So what you see me do here is I stop tapping. I'm not sure if my game freezes or not, so I'm not sure how many more Shadow Claws they get in. Actually, in the moment. Now I can see that they don't get any in. But the reason I did that is they are still 3 away from the Brave Bird. So I throw on proper timing, which is 3 Dragon Tails, 3 3-turn moves, which equates to 9 turns versus their 10-turn 2 Incinerates, and I'm able to get to my next Aqua Tail before they make their Brave Bird. If I had allowed them to farm down my Necrozma, I would have been kaput. I might have been able to get the shield with a Dark Pulse, but a Dark Pulse probably would not have been shielded. And here what you'll see me do is I do 5, wait 2 turns and try to catch, but I think I was a little bit early to the swap, and I'm not hard punished, thankfully. Thankfully, it's not a Ho-Oh in the back, which would have been absolutely detrimental to me. But they do shield up my first move. Every Necrozma and their grandmother loves to bait, so really I should be calling this move, since they're not going to get to 2 Dark Pulses before I get this Moonblast off. I think they were 2 shy, so I would have made that Moonblast and forced their hand. Now I forced their second shield, so now I'm like less inclined to shield. They do let me get to the Moonblast, which is even better. So I can guarantee this damage. And now I'm relying on Necrozma in the back. Can you play out? I do a nice combo play here, but honestly, it's really unnecessary. I think why I did it was just to force the Palkia to come in, which doesn't. And so I have to throw a little bit of damage here just to put this Dialga into double Dark Pulse range. Actually, no, I lied. I'm going to come back in with Xerneas to force them to come in with Palkia and to dump energy. And now I'm going to commit to a straight farm down with Necrozma. I can't shield anything. This Palkia is going to get 2 Aqua Tails off, but I cannot shield. If you notice my Pokemon's CPs, they are all 1 level shy of level 50, and the Palkia that my girl has been working on, because this is her account, isn't best buddied yet. So I do lose some matchups based off of lack of bulk alone. And the reason is she's like level 44 right now, so she hasn't hit that level where you have to power up 3 Pokemon to their max CP, which is why these 3 Pokemon aren't level 50, because we're going to wait until she reaches that level and then we'll max them out. So you'll have a much better time than I did using this team. Hard RPS in the lead. I'm not exactly punished in the safe swap, which is great. I get my Moonblast off before they reach the Sandsear Storm, before they debuff my ass, because every Lando and their grandmother, shout out to all the grandmas, I keep calling them out, love to debuff you. A Moonblast still does a sizable amount of damage. I can survive the next Moonblast, I believe, and I throw immediately on poor timing or poor alignment because they allowed me to get to this move. Had they CMP'd me, I would have let the move go anyway, and gotten some farm on my Palkia. Here they farm up a boatload of energy. They don't yet know that I have Dragon Tail, which is why what you see about to happen happens. I sneak a full Dragon Tail in, which is why I like this move, because that's a whole 9-ass energy, I believe it is. They are going to make it to one final... Oh, no, they don't. I don't know why they didn't throw the Stone Edge, but I swap out immediately, and they have Dialga in the back. And now you can probably see what's about to happen. You're probably already playing it out in your head. You're like, all right, GG's, the opponent should just top left. But no, I could still make a misplay. But what I'm going to do here is farm up to just before they reach their next Iron Head, and then send off my Dark Pulse to force them to use that final shield. And I think you see me do it right here. Yep, I'm at the back-to-back, actually. They are still one Dragon Breath away from the Iron Head. So if they shield, I get this move off. I don't CMP. Or maybe I did CMP? I didn't see a Dragon Breath come through. Maybe I win CMP? I know I lose CMP with the other Necrozma. And at this point, my opponent realizes that the writing is on the wall, so to speak. And we get a top left from the opponent. Pretty bad lead in the Dialga matchup. And here I'm gonna throw on proper timing since they won't go for the Brave Bird. They'll most likely go for the Sacred Sword. And best case scenario is I force a shield, which I believe is what is about to happen. If you're looking at the movesets, Spatial Rend is Legacy. Geomancy on Xerneas is Legacy. I prefer Xerneas over Zacian, but Zacian is probably the better fairy type to use. It's just like, this is my girl had these 3 hundos. You know, she doesn't even battle in Go Battle League, and I couldn't even get these. We're not exactly hard punished here, but you're gonna see me make a massive misplay. I go for the Moonblast, which is great. A Thunder doesn't actually KO, so even if I had Thunder, on the safe swap, you know, for those Ho matchups, it doesn't... I lose more matchups than I win. I should not have CMP. They were still 1 away from the next Surf, and because I do that, they've gotten their move off. They can let this go. I realize just a fraction of a second too late that I shouldn't have undercharged that, or that I shouldn't have charged that at all, just to get all this massive farm down. And then you're going to see my, what's the word? My lack of understanding of the Master League, since I don't play it often. Here, I believe I'm at the back-to-back Spatial Rends. And what you're gonna see is I'm 1 shy. And I go kaput. A Spatial Rend onto the original Dialga, the Dialga Altered, does 53%. I don't believe they were at it, but had I baited, I could have gotten that move off. I thought I was at the back-to-back. I didn't realize that I suck at counting. Here they try to catch. This is great. I'm going to full send this and farm down since our switch timers will be misaligned. And then I think I'm going to bring in whatever, I let myself go down. That way my switch timer isn't misaligned. And then you're just going to see me overfarm. Yo, I hate when I do that. That's some Poke AK shit, where he's like, you're going to see me do this, and then he doesn't do that. Okay, so in my mind, I'm a little ahead. I'm fast forwarding a bit. I'm going to keep overfarming here because I'm expecting the catch. And I don't want them to catch a Dark Pulse on their Lando. I want to get rid of this thing. I thought that they were outside of Dark Pulse range. They still are. But I wanted them to force them to throw some energy, which is why I still stay in. And then now I can bring in the Xerneas, and my opponent will realize in a minute that there is no coming back from this. They could force my shield and delay the inevitable, but they're a good sport, and they do top left before I make it to the close combat. They could have top lefted BM'd. Top left BM. If you don't know what that is, check out the video. They swap into a Mewtwo from a very difficult lead. Dragonite only wins the zeros, and no Palkia is going to play out the zeros, which is kind of trash. There I try to make a call. Also, I don't really need swap, so I'm like content with taking this shield. And if they CMP me, I think I'm going to force it. I should have just let this go, but they have so much energy that I'm like, you know what? They're not going to Psycho Cut me down. At least this way I can force their hand. I should have no bubbled that so that I could have gotten some Shadow Claws in. They come back in with Dragonite before I'm able to make a move. Now I can hard punish them with Xerneas. They realize, and they come in with Necrozma, and now I have the alignment I need. I go for the Aqua Tail immediately, which is good timing in this scenario. just because like I did have a 3-turn move on Xerneas. The swap out timing is always difficult to do. I don't know if anybody watching has any tips on how to count that. The reason I shield there is I have run into some Necrozma rocking Outrage, and I did get outraged once, and so now I am scarred. So yeah, I'm gonna go for my Aqua Tail immediately after this Dark Pulse because their timer isn't up since I managed to switch out pretty quickly. And then I'm just gonna swap into Xerneas. No need to let them farm me down, and the opponent top lefts. That's just a really difficult lead. I hate to see that. I love Dragonite. It's slowly become my favorite Pokemon, and seeing it go down like that is just so sad. I'd love to know if anybody else has experienced this scenario where what I'm about to showcase is typically I bait the Dark Pulse, but because Necrozmas love to bait, and Lando actually called it once, I went for the Sunsteel Strike, and now they actually shielded. What a fucking bitch. Just take the move, man. Take the move. Luckily for me, I do manage to make it to the Dark Pulse. If I had that higher level, I'd probably make it to the next Sunsteel Strike, but because I'm underleveled, I do unfortunately get KO before I make it. And as you see, they didn't realize that I had Dragon Tail, so they throw on alignment, and then they don't make it to another move. I was pretty hard punished in the lead, so I'm just gonna swap out immediately, I believe. What do they have in the lead? Oh, okay. They come in with Necrozma. I don't know if that was the best thing to do, but I build up to 100 energy since they haven't thrown, and I'm just gonna full send the close combat, and then I'm just gonna keep farming. I shield just on the off chance this is the one that doesn't bait, and luckily for me, they have Iron Head, which is just beautiful. So I'm gonna do one more, throw my close combat, which is neutral and with KO at this range, and then I'm gonna wait a turn. I think I failed to wait the turn. Okay, I do wait the turn. And then I go for it immediately instead of throwing on proper timing, just on the off chance that they wanted to catch. And now you're going to see that this Zekrom can reach the move before I make the play rough, so I need to make the catch. My hope was that I would sneak in a Dragon Tail, which doesn't work when you are rocking a 3-turn move. But at this point, they need to go for the Earthquake, not the Crunch, or otherwise it won't KO. So I think what I'm going to do is just CMP. Actually, they settle for the Crunch, since I would have outpaced to the Play Rough. Is it Play Rough? Sorry, Moonblast. I don't know why I waited the turn there. Oh, I think I wanted to see if they would top left BM. So I was waiting the turn just to see if they would quit out or you know, try to get me caught in the attack animation. Avalugg is a beautiful lead to see. It has absolutely nowhere to go on this team. Palkia is probably its best matchup, but the opponent doesn't know that. I build up to 100 energy, and I'm going to always go for the Moonblast. I almost said Play Rough again. I always go for the Moonblast because it won't debuff me. I can tank an Iron Head, and then I can still make it to back-to-back close combats, or at least force them to make a decision, which is what I do here. I probably could have overfarmed just a little bit more. They do shield, which is great for me, and I don't need swap, so I'm just going to let it go. They think that they have a really good alignment or that they've managed to win switch. But I'm just going to farm down with Necrozma, and hopefully they come back in with Avalugg so I can Sunsteel Strike them. But they come back in with Zygarde. And the beautiful thing about this matchup is that I throw on a proper timing, but I did cap at 100 energy, which is a little unfortunate. 2 Sunsteel Strikes, plus all the Shadow Claws, do in fact KO a Zygarde. Finally, this Pokemon is not unstoppable. I hate this Pokemon. It has a really, really cool design. But it is so annoying. Almost as annoying as Lugia. Actually, I take that back. It's more annoying than Lugia. They come in with Avalugg. I'm gonna force them to throw, or I'm just gonna go for the Sunsteel Strike. And do we get to land it? This is twice effective, but honestly, it would probably KO a horde of Avaluggs. And we do manage to KO the Avalugg, which had nowhere to go. I would have swapped out into the Palkia and gone for a couple Aqua Tails, and yeah, would have been GG's. This is not a response trainer to a Necrozma. This is why I like the Duskmane one, the Lion version, because it does do well into the Dragon types. I was originally rocking this team with an ABA strat, but I ran into way too many Ho-Ohs and I just couldn't play out of them. So this team lineup has worked out a little bit better. If you have the Pokemon, and you've probably played this team since I'm not the first person to showcase this line, But let me know how successful you've been with the team. So far, after finally dialing in the matchups, I've managed to go pretty positive. Now I can just one shield farm. Oh, sorry, not shield. I can just tank this move and farm it down. They're gonna swap out into Dialga. I'm gonna go straight for the close combat, I believe. No, I go for the Moonblast. All right. Just to force them to make a decision. And they shield. So I'm gonna stay in, match a shield, go for the close combat, and because they're close to the Iron Heads, in the moment, what I was thinking, I'm gonna catch on Palkia. In the moment, what I was thinking was there is no way in hell that they're triple weak to Xerneas, right? Like, why would you swap out? Clearly, you have a response to it. Nope, they do not. And they also don't make the Draco here, which is why I no shield. And you're gonna see what they have in the back. Any guesses? You'll never guess what they have. You'll never guess. I am gonna reach it one turn before they do, so I wait for the Dragon Tail animation to begin, and then I go for the Spatial Rend. The only way I lose is if they catch. Even then, I think this is still a pretty dominant matchup. I lose if they go for the EQ here. Of course they don't, because why would they? And then I have to wait the turn so that they don't catch on Palkia. I go for the close combat because it's enough and the Dragon Tails or the Dragon Breaths aren't going to take me out. And one Geomancy manages to take out the low health Palkia. Xerneas lead, this is trash. I've been starting to think, based on how this opponent plays it out, that I should go for the close combat immediately just to force a delay in the switch timers. If they stay in like my opponent did. Clearly my opponent has a really hard response to me. I make sure to throw on proper timing, which is three turn moves for every 2 Incinerates. You can't always optimize that way, but here my opponent is clearly hell-bent on farming me down, which may or may not cost them. And here they go for a move. And I'm just going to shield, because at this point, I can probably KO with 2 more Geomancies since I got one through. And they actually go for the Brave Bird. So they die with a boatload of energy. They come back in with Mewtwo. I still make sure to throw on proper timing because I outpace to their Side Strike. And you're going to see me commit a most fatal error, which is why this isn't a 5-0. I settle for the close combat. I should have gone for the Moonblast. Why? Because I thought that I could make it to another close combat. I do, but I get DRE, damage registration error, and their fast move registers before I can full send my move, so I do die with the move. Then I'm denied a Dragon Tail, which always hurts to see, and at this point I'm just gonna sack Palkia. My opponent here has a decision to make. They can either save up all that energy that they have on that Xerneas and go for the Shadow Ball, which they don't. And then I'm just, I'm feeling ballsy at this moment, and I call a Moonblast. And now I'm going to go at perfect timing. I do 4 Shadow Claws, which is 8 turns, versus their 3 Geomancies, which is 9 turns. And then I can farm down the Mewtwo, and that was a really good game that I believe my opponent misplayed. I think they should have came in straight away with the Ho-Oh. Maybe they were a little afraid that I was going to farm them down with Palkia. Here you're going to see me not make the same mistake, to learn from my mistake. Actually, I think I shield before. Yeah, because I want to play out the ones. I know that another Moonblast KOs, and you're going to see me do something that I've never done before in my life. I wait the turn to see the damage from that waterfall register so that I could potentially make another close combat. Luckily for me, they actually throw the move immediately, so I'm content with this. I can let this go down. I can come in with Palkia, get a really juicy farm down, because you're going to see they survived that Dragon Tail. So I'm able to get the full 5 down. They have a Primarina, and now I'm a little bit concerned, because this Zacian does have Snarl, which is better into my Necrozma, and they don't bait. And unfortunately for me, I'm like, all right, well, most likely they call this Dark Pulse, right? Because I like to call the Dark Pulse. So they do! Never mind! I thought that they were, So typically I would try to call the Dark Pulse because it is a really, you see me make a mistake here. Absolutely unnecessary mistake. This could have cost me the match that I worked so hard to win. I thought that I would make it to that next Dark Pulse. All I need to do is make it to 2 Aqua Tails. My opponent is committing, not really to the farm down, but I think to the back-to-back disarming voices. I do one more to try and CMP, but they didn't. And this Aqua Tail should KO. And I managed to clutch back that win based on how poorly I played it out in the beginning. So that is the final 4-1 that could have been, should have been a 5-0 Copium that gets me to expert. Obviously, this is my girl's account, but it's still me playing the battles, so it's not any different. There is something to be said about the RNG on different accounts. You know, random number generator doesn't always feel like it's random. Sometimes it feels like it hard counters your account, but gives other players easy mode account. Let me know if you can relate. Obviously, that's a lot of copium. There's no actual evidence to back that up, but I can't help but feel that sometimes it does feel that way. Thank you for watching the video. If you are new to the world of GBL, feel free to check out this video that I worked really hard on, and I think that a lot of people could learn a little bit from it. Sadly, on my account, I am trying to make a different team work in the Master League that isn't quite working. So I will try to hit Legend when Ultra League comes back, and hopefully I showcase that team to you. So I'll catch you in that next video. Peace!